各位亲爱的网友朋友，大家好。
Hello, my dear friends.
今天呢，我们又到了学习《地藏经》第12章。
So today we're going to learn chapter 12 of Earth Store Sutra, the benefits from seeing and hearing. So let's come back to Trastumsa heaven at the assembly. At that time, the Sakyamuni Buddha from his Ushnisha sent forth hundreds of thousands and millions of rays of great light, brilliant light. So in order to express our reverence, so use the language at that time. So these are the rays of white light, great white light, auspicious light, great auspicious light, jade light, great jade light, purple light, great purple light, blue light, great blue light, azure light, great azure light, red light, great red light, green light, great green light, golden light, great golden light, light in the form of celebratory clouds, great celebratory clouds, thousand-spoked wheel, great thousand-spoked wheel, jewel wheel, great jewel wheel, sun, great sun, moon, great moon, palaces, great palaces, ocean-like clouds, and great ocean-like clouds. So here, I'll just explain a little bit about these light. So when we talk about the light, where does it send forth? It's actually from the middle of Buddha's crowns, the eyebrows. Chinese people call it yin tang, or the divine eye. So it's in between the eyebrows. You know, Indian ladies, usually they would put a red dot over there, and Chinese people, so ladies put the red dot there for auspiciousness, and little kids in China, when they're celebrating for children's birthday or something, they sometimes will also use cinnabars to put a dot there. I think at the place where Shakyamuni Buddha was born, about northern India, close to Nepal, so in that area, especially men over there, they usually are very tall and very strong, and maybe have also heavier hair. So people with heavier hair, usually in between their eyebrows, there might be some very fine hair similar to the eyebrow. So people with very heavy hair, their eyebrow seems to be connected like one line. But here, this light, it didn't say that Buddha's eyebrows are connected, but in between the eyebrows, there was something, you know, there's in the middle, there's a bulging, about a circle that has hair. So in the ancient Buddha's sutras, at this place, sometimes they will put like a cone, like the Chinese wattle, or sometimes they will put like a pyramid-shaped something here. So it's sharp in the top and square in the middle, and so this represents Buddha's light. And so from this area, Buddha emit lights, and these are all auspicious light. And secondly, there's also light from the sun, from the moon, and from the jewels or gems, and also palace. Here it talks about the lights in the form of palace. This means shining the whole world. This light will illuminate the whole world. So when a sutra talks about light, and there's great light, so there's not only the light, but also Shakyamuni Buddha has that great body and great sound. So when Shakyamuni Buddha was in the human realm, he manifests into a handsome man's form, and this is his physical body. But what about his Dharma body? How big is that? It's like beyond our imagination. His eyes are even greater and bigger than a lake. So this body is called Dharma body. And where does his Dharma body exist? It's in the immeasurable, boundless world. And the third kind of body is manifestation body. So when he wants to help other people, he would have a manifestation body to stand there. This is not a fake body, but it's from his vow. So you now know this idea, right? So this light shines from the middle of the eyebrow and sent forth this wisdom and energy to rescue and liberate all sentient beings. So this is what it means. Okay, now let's continue. After sending forth such rays of light from Ushnisha, Shakyamuni Buddha issued forth his sublime, wonderful voice. He told the great assembly, okay, hear me now in the Trimsa heaven as I praise Earth Store Bodhisattva for how he benefits those in the human and heavenly realms, both in the heaven and heavenly realms, and so forth, to benefit all sentient beings on inconceivable matters, on the matters that transcend the causes of holiness, on matters of attaining of the 10th stage, and on the matters of ultimate being irreversibly on course to full awakening and perfect enlightenment, to on the path to Buddhahood. As these words were spoken, a Bodhisattva Mahasattva named Avalokitesvara, Guan Yin Bodhisattva, rose from the seat and knelt down with palms joined and said to Buddha, Earth Store Bodhisattva has great kindness and compassion and pity for wrongdoing suffering beings. He transforms into thousands of millions of manifestations to rescue all these wrongdoing beings. He has great merits, virtues, and inconceivable supernormal powers. I have heard your the world-honored one and immeasurable Buddhas of the 10 directions unanimously praise Earth Store Bodhisattva, saying that even all Buddhas of the past, present, and future cannot fully express his merits and virtues because his merits and virtues are just so many. And also, World Honor One has told the assembly that you wish to praise how Earth Store benefits sentient beings and so forth. So for the sake of all sentient beings in the present and future, please, World Honor One, please expound on the inconceivable matters of Earth Store Bodhisattva so that the 8 legends of heavenly beings and dragon-like beings can respectfully gaze at, pay reverence, and receive merits. So he's actually ask Dharma teachings for the 8 legends of heavenly beings and dragon-like beings. And Buddha said, oh, you great Bodhisattva have great karmic connections with the Sahara world. You know, Chinese people all respect Guan Yin Bodhisattva. A lot of our ancestors and seniors, they have respected and revered Guan Yin Bodhisattva for maybe many, many generations, especially starting from the Tang Dynasty. And there may be heavenly beings, dragon-like beings, you know, those flying dragons, that man, woman, spirits, ghosts, or any beings in the 6 realms of samsara who have the opportunity to hear your name, see your image. If they can have reverence and praise towards you, these beings definitely will not regress or turn away from the unsurpassed way. They will forever be reborn as humans or heavenly beings and experience excellent wondrous joys and accumulate merits. When their karma comes to maturity, they will meet Buddhas and receive prediction of their Buddhahood. Now you have the great compassion and kindness and take pity on sentient beings and 8 legends of heavenly beings and dragon-like beings. Listen as I expound on Earth Store Bodhisattva's inconceivable deeds of benefiting sentient beings. You should listen attentively. I will speak on them now. And Guanyin Bodhisattva said, World Honored One, we all joyfully wish to listen. The Buddha told Guanyin Bodhisattva, in the various worlds in the present and future, there are heavenly beings who have exhausted their heavenly merits. What does heavenly fortune, or what does that mean, heavenly fortune and good life? And then they start to display 5 signs of decay. So decay means, going down, like it's not very good, weaker energy. That's what it means. So there are 5 signs of decay, and some of them are about to fall into the evil realms. When such heavenly beings, whether male or female, displays these signs, if they see Earth Store Bodhisattva's image or hear Earth Store Bodhisattva's name, and they gaze at and pay reverence to him once, these heavenly beings will increase their heavenly merit immediately, continue to experience great happiness on the heavenly realm, and will never fall into the 3 evil realms. So as long as you can gaze at and pay reverence and chant his name, then it will be so many wonderful benefits, and continue to experience a heavenly joy. How much more so will be for those who see and hear Earth Store Bodhisattva's name, make offerings of incense, flowers, clothes, food, and treasure and jewelries. The virtues, merits, and benefits that they will obtain will be immeasurable and boundless. So, Guanyin Bodhisattva, in the present and future worlds, when sentient beings, when they're on the verge of death, so they're about to die, so this is what it means. If they have the opportunity to hear Earth Store Bodhisattva's name, even if the sound passes through their ears just once, such beings will not fall into the 3 evil realms and will not undergo the sufferings there. Wow, this is so auspicious. How much more so when their parents, relatives use the dying one's house, wealth, treasures and clothing to make offerings and to commission the sculpting and painting of Earth Store Bodhisattva's image, or before the sick person has passed away, to let him see, hear, and understand that these parents or relatives are using his house, treasures, and so forth for the sculpting and painting of Earth Store Bodhisattva's image for this sick person's benefit. Now you understand, right? When this person is seriously ill but hasn't passed away, so he's still clear that his family member is doing these merits to avoid him from falling into the 3 evil realms, because if he falls into the evil realms, there will be no happy days anymore. It's all sufferings. When he was very clear-minded and knows that his family member is making the offerings of his assets, his house and treasures, and to sculpting or painting of Earth Store Bodhisattva's image, the merits will be really great. If this person's karmic effects are such that he would have to undergo severe illness, through these merits and virtues of offering, he will soon recover and his lifespan will be prolonged. If this person's karmic effects are such that his life would end, sometimes, human beings' life, they have a fixed length. yeah, if their lifespan is supposed to end, then even if he looks healthy, he would still have to end his life. So the burden of his offenses and karmic obstacles should send him to the evil realms. Then through these merits and virtues, at the end of his life, he will be reborn among humans or heavenly beings. He will experience excellent, wondrous joy. All the offenses and hindrances will be eliminated. So, Grandmaster, I have a question. So this sutra is when Guanyin Bodhisattva asked for Dharma teachings for the heavenly beings, you know, the 8 legends of heavenly beings and dragon-like beings. So Grandmaster says the 8 legends of heavenly beings and dragon-like beings are different from the one in those fiction books like the Kung Fu fictions. So these 8 legends of heavenly beings and dragon-like beings, they're not human beings. Some call them deities, some are like fairies, some are like spirits. So they are very, some of them are very powerful. They could be so powerful that they can become Dharma protectors of Buddha, to help Buddha, assist Buddha to so that the world will be function properly. And so this is a huge deity, but they're not human, they're not heavenly beings. So you can understand them as half deity, half spirit, that kind of state of life. And so the 8 legends of heavenly beings and dragon-like beings, there are 8 legends. So they're not human beings. They are like heavenly beings. I can only describe this way. It's very hard to describe very much in detail. The second legend is dragon-like beings. So, you know, the dragons that we have the picture here with the 4 paws, these are not exactly like that. Their existence in the heavenly realm is not limited to this one kind. On the earth, we call those dragons who preside over, you know, irrigations and watering and rains. That's only a small part of the dragon like beings. They actually they do a lot of other things too. And the third legend is yakshas. Actually, it's very difficult to understand. I saw them. I have to say they are unsightly, but they're also pretty. Well, especially females. They're actually pretty, especially females. Wherever you look at them, they're so beautiful because they are deities. They have very powerful Dharma power, and it's like inconceivable Dharma power. And the 4th kind is called Gandhava, or we call them scent deity. They have a kind of aroma on them there. They also try to find fragrances, and so they have a specific kind of work in the heavenly realm. They are like the deity of music. They can sing, they can play musical instruments, they can dance, and they also have aromas, and therefore they specifically serve the sakras. So they have their specific work, and actually they're very auspicious. And the 5th kind is Asura. Asuras are even more fierce and powerful. And so, you know, in these deities, they have different kind of energies. In the heavenly realm, sometimes there is something similar to the human realm. And Asura in different heavenly worlds, sometimes he would fight with people, fight with beings who are who he should fight, and will conquer those who he should conquer. And so he would often fight with chakras and other heavenly deities and heavenly kings. And how much energy do you know? If he just stretch out his hand, and then there will be a thunder, and then maybe it would be like 200,000 volts, and a big stone, a big rock will be cut in half. So don't offend him, okay? They are very powerful. And they also look very pretty. Yes. And the next is Garuda. You know, in the Buddhist temples, there's a statue which is like the golden winged bird deity, and you know, they can be Buddha's Dharma protector. Think about Buddha's body, Dharma body. How big is that? So extremely huge. And I think that the bird deity, half of his wing would be as big as the earth. Like, so he's a huge deity. So he's a deity with the wing that can fly. And the seventh is Kimnara. Kimnara really love to sing and also are celestial musicians. And so this kind of deity, they have men and women, so they have genders. And so the benefit or advantage of that, it can help this kind of being to live long and prosper. And the eighth kind is called Maharaga, and some call them earthly dragon or serpentine deity. So when Buddha was achieving enlightenment, all of these deities all arrived, either tease him or entice him or frighten him, and eventually they all became his Dharma protector. So there was a Buddha statue. Buddha was meditating and was sitting on, you know, on a futon which was made by the serpent. And when it's raining heavily, because you know this serpent is the king of the snake, his body is so big, and when he stick out his tongue, it's like an auspicious umbrella and protecting the Buddha. So on Buddha's path to enlightenment, they first, you know, compete with him with Dharma, and secondly became his, and later became his Dharma protector. So heavenly beings are not very pure. In every heavenly world, there are many different existences and countless beings. And in 8 legends, there are also many small legends too, many sentient beings. So another question is about the 5 fortunes, heavenly fortunes, and after they exhaust their heavenly fortunes, they will have the 5 signs of decay. So what are the 5 signs of decay? So Buddha talked about the heavenly beings, you know, so these deities, that kind of being. So they're still in the 6 realms of samsara. As long as they have desires, they have birth and cessation, then it's in the 6 realms. Buddha generally says when their merits are exhausted, when they're going to finish or complete their good life, there will be some signs. So the first is the floral crown withers. You know, those deities, they are enjoy life there, and so those floral crowns are, we could understand as a plant, or you know, those crowns that are decorated by jewels and jewelries. And in the heavenly realm, when the floral crown is withering, you can imagine that there's a flower. Maybe the flower can blossom for 1 month. And if you have already put the flower there for 1.5 months, what would happen? Of course, wither. A lot of the petals will fall, you know, though when it blossoms, that beautiful color and the beauty and that sense of beauty disappeared. So from the color, the form, the shape, it all changed, becomes ugly, and you know, the color disappears, the moisture disappeared, and the petals fall and even get yellow. So when this happens, we call it withers. The second sign, when you look at their clothes, say for example, every day you need to change clothes, you always wear clean clothes and ironed, and so very pretty. But when other people look at you, they always think that it's dusty and it's dirty, and as if it cannot wash clean, and so it always feel, you know, dirty. So their clothes become soiled. It's a second sign. The third, their armpits begin to sweat. You know, heavenly beings, they do not sweat. in their armpit. So this is said in the sutra. But human beings, almost all human beings on earth, they sweat. So sweating for human beings is a normal and natural sign, and it's healthy. But heavenly beings, they don't have this. So if heavenly beings, they ever begin to sweat in the armpits, so there's a problem. So that's a sign of decay. The fourth sign of decay is their bodies begin to stink. When okay, you look at our human beings, some people have odors, like the body odor, right? And some people have odors in from their feet. So if our body always have odors, is it healthy? Not healthy, right? Wherever is unhealthy, anyways, it's that your physical health is not good. If you rub your hands and then you smell, there's a stinky smell, it's not healthy. And sometimes, oh, I told you to rub the back of your ear, and then if you smell it, oh, is it me? So actually this smell can change if you're having a good mood and you have good diet, and then you smell it, oh, the smell is not stinky. But if you have some fire and then you rub the back of your ear and you can smell some odor, and it's because of too much fire. So when we have odors, so first of all, it's unhealthy, and secondly, you can attract something not so good. The odor can attract evil spirit, and especially ghosts and a lower level spirits, like the animal fairies, like the fox fairies, the snake fairies. They always try to find these stinky smells. But some fragrances these evil spirit or ghosts are afraid of, especially agarwood, sandalwood, ambergris, and including musk. They're afraid. So these are repellent for them. So a lot of great masters, I'm talking about Western people. In Western world, there are many different religions, and when they have ceremonies, they would have an incense burner, and there's the incense burning. And in India, Nepal, and Tibet, they also have incense. Even though they cannot purchase very expensive incense, they will use the cypress, a branch of the cypress, and then put it there to allow the cypress smell to come out. Actually, cypress smell can be very good, like the Tibetan Sabina Shenensis. That's very, very good incense. And so it all expels evil. So good deities, Buddha, heavenly beings, and including earth deities, they like this kind of good smell, good incense. So the incense are for offering to deities and Buddhas. And so we offer incense and tell Buddha our wishes with the scent of the incense. And so the scent flows where it goes, we don't know, but Buddha received it. It's just like that. And so the next sign is they become restless. So they're in the heavenly beings. Say, for example, in the Trastrimsa heaven, you know, all beings in the heavenly realm, they have big merits and wise. So they all have a kind of advanced title and merit. So they have their like seats and titles. So after they have been enjoying such a beautiful state, sometimes because their lack of merits or maybe lack of fortitude, then they get sick of these beautiful life states, and they become, you know, they're fed up with this beautiful lifestyle, wonderful lifestyle, and also the environment in the paradise. And so in our daily life, we call it complaint. When complain too much, this is a sign of decay. Complain is like you're not satisfied with the current beautiful life, and so deities and Buddha will take away your fortune, right? And say, for example, the couples, a lot of times they're very used to speak sarcastically to each other, but they're too shy to praise each other. But actually, we need to learn. Ladies, you should learn to praise your child, your husband, and even your mother-in-law, father-in-law. But don't praise too much. But you sincerely praise the specific thing, that one thing that they did well, and they will really be happy, and they will like to talk to you, and immediately harmony will be generated. And this is cause and consequence. When you give gentle words, you will be loved and respected. When you give out attacking language, what you receive is like revenge, and the other party will also attack you with his way. And so that's absolutely going to happen when the family is attacking each other. Just imagine, just think about it. Is it a sign of decay? This is leaking qi, which means leaking energy. Say, for example, your husband, maybe recently in his work, he had some setbacks and some difficulties, and you give him praise and encouragement. I think that your husband then will be easily deal with this and will be very grateful for you. Actually, with such a wife, the husband will not do something wrong or go to the wrong path. He will really love you. Maybe you work very hard and works until 9:30 or 10 to go home. Some wives will say, oh, where did you go? Find another lady. And then maybe she will use a magnifier, see, oh, is there any hair on your clothes or any lipsticks or other perfume. And so this kind of check, what is the result? He would feel being invaded. What about you? If you go out and perm your hair, and then if your husband also check you, or if your mother-in-law, father-in-law come to check, then you will be so furious that you want to divorce. So these are all leaking qi. There are lots of actions, lots of behavior that's leaking qi. If we don't care, then there will be a lot of ways to leak qi and money. These kind of actions or mental mindset, there are lots of them. Not only complaints, but greedy. You want to you're already rich, you want to be even richer, and you're already so if you're too greedy, you'll lose something that you don't want to lose. And so also don't be too luxurious. You already have a lot of good clothes, and many of them you don't even have time to wear them, and say, oh, the new fashion arrives, then you buy again. I think these are all leaking your prosperity. Don't buy. If you don't need it, don't buy. There's a young man, he has money, and the mother asked me, oh, my child wants to buy a car. I say, okay, because he's graduated. And the mother said, it's not expensive, it's only $300,000, $400,000. And I said, does he has his own savings? He said, no, it's using our money. I said, then don't buy, because it's not good for them. So now you're not making money, and you are already driving a world-class luxurious car. After you make money, what kind of car would you buy? Do you still have any room for improvement? So luxury, try to be too luxury. This is actually going to cessation. It's actually this is a sign of decay. It's just like cooking frog in a lukewarm water. And another thing is that too arrogant. Oh, you're a graduate from high school, from university, from doctorate degree, and you look down upon people who are not so well educated, and you think, oh, I hire somebody to look after my child and cook, and you don't want to even talk to her and just give her money. Is it good? No, not very good. You won't be happy, and you lose a lot of opportunities to success. I'll share a story about arrogance. About 1,800 years ago, that was in the Han Dynasty in China. There was a very famous Chinese emperor called Emperor Han Wu, very famous and powerful, has a lot of talents and strategy, and he covered a lot of land. And at that time, there in the north of China, there was a nationality called Xiongnu. They are always they're like very good at riding horses and hunting, so they're born to have very good ability to fight, right? But Chinese people on the mainland, they're usually farming, and so they're not like born to have that fighting ability, right? So Empress Han was father and grandfather. They saved a lot of money, so the country and the people get richer so that they can have a good life, and also they will grow a lot of horse and also build the troops so that they can fight with Xiongnu when they invade them. And so the Empress Han actually he has a nephew. His name is Huo Qubing. From his childhood, he trained him to be very, very, aggressive. Only knows kill, kill, kill. And so in his whole mind is only killing. He was only 17 years old. He alone led 3,000 quick cavalry, and when the other party, they didn't have any preparation, and they were so fast that they rushed into the desert and find those Xiongnu people and attack them, and then they couldn't fight back, and so they took their aristocrat back and then took all the money back. And so the Han Wu emperor was so happy and said, wow, he's only 17. And so he conferred him as the advanced general, which is like a wonderful general. And then at that time, all those emperor's children, they need to have a lot of training because they always use sword and spear and fight. Otherwise, they cannot be emperor because everybody is looking at their power. So they have one of the training is hunting. So they usually will go to a mountain close to the capital city, and they will go hunting. And one day, the emperor also went there, and Huo Qubing saw that there was a sicker deer was running, and so he shot an arrow, and he thought that he shot the deer. When he close to the deer, there was another general was there, Li Gan. Li Gan actually shoot the arrow at the same time. The deer was running, and they actually shoot at the deer from different directions. And Li Gan is the descendant of Li Guang, General Li Guang. Li Guang was who contributed hugely when the Han Dynasty started. And so when the emperor, in order to reward and express gratitude to General Li Guang, the emperor personally gave him a gold medal so that he can avoid death. And this can pass down to his future generations. And so, say, for example, he's maybe conferred as a general. All his children, grandchildren, all the descendants will also be generals, and so they can all enjoy this benefit. But Huo Qubing never is modest, and his uncle is emperor, and he said, "I shoot the emperor. I shoot the deer. How dare you dispute with me? You don't want to live?" And Li Gan said, "I also shoot the arrow. How come you say that deer is yours?" And Huo Qubing said, "If you don't go away, then I will kill you." Li Gan, he was the descendant of the hero of this country, and the emperor gave him such a high title. Who dared to kill him? If anybody wants to kill him, they need to ask the emperor. But Huo Qubing took out the arrow and killed Li Gan right away. And at that time, all the other people, when they saw that, were shocked. They didn't know what to do. And at this time, the emperor came over and saw, oh, who dared to kill General Li Gan? The emperor was furious and was trembling, almost go crazy, and took out his horsewhip and whipping Huo Qubing. And Huo Qubing was spoiled from childhood, and the emperor, had him. It's almost like breeding a very fierce tiger. he was so spoiled. He always hit others. He never has been beaten. And this time, it's the very first time in his life he was beaten, and it was emperor himself beating him so hard. And he said, I will remove your title, I'll banish you to the frontier, I'll send you to exile. And then he felt so ashamed and angry. And after a month or two, he died on the way to the frontier. He actually, anyways, whatever reason caused the arrogance, as long as arrogance becomes the habit, the harm from arrogance can be so big. So first we talked about complaints, and then greed and arrogance, and also luxuries. So when you're luxurious, you use things, without a limit. And also, there's another thing that a lot of people ignore. I think it's very important. That is laziness. A lot of children, they are very smart, but even until death, they don't accomplish anything. They missed a lot of good things. They've never done anything good. The only reason is laziness. There's nothing no achievement is achieved without diligence. And if he's lazy, he say, oh, you should get up at 8, but he will get up at 9 or 10. Even if you have money, but even if you don't have to work, and you still need to arrange your reading and learning, arts, and even some other, learn philosophy or wisdom, and you should do like that. And if your daytime, nighttime are switched, and this is a ghost-like life, this is actually a sign of decay. You need to have knowledge. You need to use time to enrich yourself. In Hong Kong, I met a wife of a very wealthy business person. When we were having a conversation, he took 5 books and asked me, oh, Grandmaster, please correct me. These are the books that I wrote. Wow, these books are not ordinary books about psychology, the right way for seniors diet, and some research about some mental disease, these kind of very professional books. When she was looking after the kids, and she also went to school and graduated and got a doctor's degree. So everything that the husband will always ask for advice from his wife, everything of the company that he will definitely need approval from the wife so that they will do it. And so you can see this wife is a gem now for them. And another bad behavior is that they're muddled up. They always do things that they said they don't supposed to do, and so they will beat their parents and satirize their parents, and always humiliate the person that they love most, and to humiliate people who are favor to you. So they treat badly to your children, their family members, and their friends, and so always do something that they're not supposed to do. And so when they're supposed to praise, they will humiliate. When they're supposed to care, then they will always harm them. And when they're supposed to make offerings, they will slander. But when he should go against, and he will actually sing praise. So this is really muddled up. This is really a sign of decay. So this person is a person that's supposed to fall to hell. How can you develop your business or your family? Even if you have money right now, they will all eventually disappear. And it will harm many generations. Your children will carry your bad karma and share your bad karma. And eventually you will be killed by your children and fall to hell. Very terrible. So all of these are signs of decay. So no complaint, praise more respect, and also don't be greedy, more giving, don't be arrogant. And we need to be very humble. Don't say, oh, I have money. Never do that. Take away your fox tail. And so Buddha always teach us to make offerings to Buddha, pay reverence to Buddha, make merits, and read Earth Store Sutra and do merits, make offerings. Make offerings is very fast. I remind a lot of people. Yeah, but they don't listen. And they didn't say that they won't listen, but they actually don't listen. And I just watch them fall down, and so painful and so bad. And yeah, so Grandmaster, I have another question. In the sutra, there's something said in the sutra. It says these beings definitely will not regress or turn away from the unsurpassed way. So as a Buddhist who learned Buddha Dharma, so what kind of mindset can help us not to regress and turn away on our cultivation? Wow, this is so difficult. Never regress. Very few people can do that. Very few. I can't tell you. This is like, well, in a movie you can see people fall in love. In the songs they talk about love, right? When they fall in love, they all say, oh, I love you until my death, until the world goes to its end. When the ocean becomes land, I'll never change my heart. But before you live to that day, you have already changed. Maybe you're divorced after a year, the quickest maybe 2 months. And so there's so many changes. And so it's not absolute. It's always not permanent. Human hearts change is like instant. So Buddha said, one flower is one world, one thought is one Bodhi. So that instant one thought. Who believe you? You said hell. Is there a hell? And is there a paradise? Is there a legends of heavenly beings and dragon-like beings? Maybe you've already cultivated to a certain level. Say, for example, to level 10, you'll be enlightened, but you're already level 5. But what a pity you already fell to the hell because of this blaspheme. You fall to hell. How can you have accomplishment, right? Never change in the whole life. I don't know if it is because of bad karma that caused a regression, or it's because of the narrow mind or greed that caused a regression. Well, Buddha is a great educator and a psychologist. He said the 5 poison, greed, anger, ignorance, arrogance, and doubt, has nothing to do with your appearance. Do you have greed, everybody? Do you have arrogance? You see people highly educated. When you see people not so highly educated, you don't want to talk to them. This is so arrogant. And you need to respectfully make offerings and sing praise. Who can do all these 3? Who can do these 3 all like for 10 years? Maybe today you're touched, oh, you cured my serious disease. Oh, I will build the Buddha statue. I will build a temple. After 6 months, you say, build a statue? Who will do that? Build the temple? Who? And you forgot all about after 3 years who saved your life and how he looks like. You forgot all about. So human hearts, they change. It's like, this is like faith, vow, and action. When your faith, vow, and action is not very solid for 10 years as the beginner's mind, if you do not have actual action, you will not be able to go forward. This is actually the key point of this sutra. Everything from bodhisattvas and the ghost kings, whatever they ask, it's always, to sculpt Buddha statues or paint Buddha images or to sing praise, to make offerings. Why? It's faith, vow, and action. Well, if you believe in me, then you make offerings, right? You need to be sincere, and it needs to be a big offering. You need to put a body, speech, and mind together. You said, oh, I want to build a Buddha statue. You have maybe 1 million, but you only donate $1. You yelled very loud, but when you are talking about action, you're going away. And so, yeah, so Wherever you want to go, then go. You won't be able to have any accomplishment. How can you have true accomplishments? Your body, speech, and mind needs to be united, to be in one. If not, you're wasting your time. And then whatever your life is like, then nobody can help you. Yeah, it's just like that. And so Grandmaster, there's a state that's mentioned in the sutra. It's attain Anuttarā-Samyak-Saṃbodhi. What kind of state is this? So this word, this term, is when Buddhists, when they enter into deep meditation, they will meet that. That's actually an ultimate pursuit. That is actually an ultimate nirvana, which actually means eternity or permanence. When people cultivate and achieve Buddhahood, say like Shakyamuni Buddha, and he practiced again and cultivated again in the human world and achieved Buddhahood again, and he left that physical body. We call it a small body or physical body. So this is a human body. When this physical body finished the work in the human world, actually he will go back to the state of Dharma body. That Dharma body is like the state of nirvana. It's permanent. And the Dharma body actually is beyond the 6 realms. It includes the 6 realms. Does it sound strange? But anyways, it's not limited by the 6 realms. He can go inside or out of the 6 realms, any realm, maybe to the hell or to animal realm or to the heavenly realm. Now it's in the 12 streams of heaven, right? Or to the paradise that other religions are talking about. As long as he think about it, he'll be there. He can go to any world or any realms at any time. So this is permanent and also omnipresent. So and his supernormal power is boundless and it's immeasurable, it's huge. And so in a Buddhist meditation, there's no higher state than this. This is the highest. So this state is called full awakening and perfect enlightenment. And so talking about offerings, and they say, oh, I need to offer my house and land or donate all of them. So what kind of mindset should we have to make all of these to make a big offering? This is a huge question. In this Earth Store Bodhisattva Sutra, there's countless times has mentioned the merit, especially when on the verge of death, when are about to fall into the lower realms. So Buddha pointed out the way out. His family and himself, if they're willing to, offer their land and their house. What does that mean? The land is the land that they plant, that they grow the plants. So that's what they make a living on. He needs to donate that. And also the house that he lives in also need to be donated, and his treasure need to be donated. This is like all his assets, almost everything. Say, for example, he has 1 million. He's taking out 800,000. Why Buddha says that? Say, for example, a very filial son, someone who has filial piety. Maybe his mother got very seriously ill, and he knows that the mother hasn't been doing many virtuous things, except that he's kind to his children. Maybe he did a lot of bad things. About to die now, she's about to fall down. And so when the child hears about the sutra, and so he will go to a really good Buddhist center. And say, for example, a mother's asset is 1 million. He would donate 500,000 and hope the master will release the soul of his mother so that the mother will not go to the 3 evil realms, not go to hell. It's like pay for his offenses. As a filial son, he definitely can do it, and sometimes they will donate all of that, and we did meet such kind of people. And when we see that, we're very touched. And Buddha said, donate money, you know, the land and the house and the jewelries and treasures, donate all of them. Buddha actually is taking the risk that he can be misunderstood. But why he said that, even though he could be misunderstood? Because Buddha knows the world is like that today. If you fall into hell for maybe billions of years, you won't be able to come out of the hell. If that's your dearest parents or your loving child, if they pass away and you put some money so that they can have merits and they will not fall to hell, I think that's very good. I would be willing to do that. A lot of young people, when their parents are still alive, they have never heard about whether there's soul or heaven or hell. But when your most loved one pass away, immediately you will start to believe, oh, where has my mother go? And you must have heard about hell. Then you will be worrying about, oh, is she in a hell? And if you dream of that, she's not in a good place, then you start to believe. And then you dream that she is being punished there, and you see some very terrible scenes. That means that they are under, and then you need to make merits. If you did just a little bit of merits, they're still under. Maybe they have a little bit less suffering, but still they cannot be reborn into the heavenly realm or the wealthy human realm. So this is what Buddha said. He's not afraid that you will misunderstood. And if parents and ancestors, they're not in hell, that's actually good for us. If your grandparents, 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 and also if they are suffering in hell, the next 5 generations nobody will be able to enjoy wealth and fame, because you're all connected. Yeah. So say, for example, if the child has something, the mother's heart will immediately feel the pain because you're connected. And what about the other ancestors? It's the same. You have the blood connection. If he is suffering in hell, you will have bad fortune in the human realm. If you do not do well, then you will also fall into hell, let alone go to never think about going to heavenly realm or the ultimate land of ultimate bliss. So yeah, you are helping them. Actually, you are helping yourself. When they are well, then you can be well. And so some say, I'm still young. Should I do these merits earlier? So should I offer light earlier? Well, this is very wise. In addition to light offering, any other merits are the same. You should do some merits when you receive a certain age. You actually should do them earlier when you're still young, so you are already, pave the way for your accomplishment and for your liberation. There was an online friend said, oh, my family member, they don't believe in anything. After I die, I'm afraid that they won't do anything for me. Even if I have a will, they won't do it. So what should I do? Then you can do the merits earlier. It doesn't mean that you should offer a deceased light. Just you do merits, and then you can offer light for the Buddha, so that Buddha can help more sentient beings. This is very auspicious, right? And then it will help you to achieve easier. So you can pave the way earlier. And so such kind of online friends, if he has already made merits, afterwards, if his family member didn't offer the light for releasing his soul, he will still go to a good place. That's right. When he actually leaves the world, Buddha's Bodhisattva will guide him. He's not dying. He's just going to that land of ultimate bliss. And so when he got there, after some cultivation, he will achieve Buddhahood and enter into the ultimate nirvana, and you coexist with the universe. There's nothing wrong about that. It's just like that. It's wonderful, yeah. And so and some children don't understand when the parents, they donated and made offerings, and then the children asked them back what would be the result. So Master says, this is really not good. You are actually pushing your parents to hell. These children, I think you really need to think. Let's put faith in Buddha aside. Do you know something? Do you have love towards your parents? Let alone gratitude and filial piety. Do you have any love towards your parents? Even if he was sick and you didn't serve him and helped him, you really don't care that he might fall into hell? Will your child have a good life in the future? I'm really asking you from my heart. Let me tell you the answer. Very bad. Really not auspicious. What did you take back? You took back the money that's offered to the center and the master. Even you just take, master's assets without permission, you steal them or cheat and took away. These are all disasters for you. This will send you to the incessant hell. These are the 5 heinous crimes. A lot of them, they don't know, and so they're not happy, and then they will curse the master and start a rumor about the master. And if your master is a true Buddhist disciple, just that one sentence, you will go to incessant hell. Nobody can save you, and your life will enter into a hungry ghost state. His whole body will be full of bad energy. It's not good. So when you're making merits, you want to give. As Buddha said, giving one will get 10,000-fold in return. And when you do bad things, it's the same. You will get 10,000-fold back too. Do kind deeds, virtuous deeds, you will get 10,000-fold back with the kindness. And so Buddha said, if you donate so many treasures and assets, especially your parents donate all your assets. So the result, 6/7 will be given to the people who made the offering, who's alive, and 1/7 is for the deceased. Do you still remember? That's what Buddha said. Actually, both sides, the deceased and the living, both will get rewards. And so when you have already made so much offerings, with your heart always changing, I think, no, this is my faith, this is my pursuit, this is my highest longing, and this is my best master, this is my center. I'm willing to do that. Your heart will be will have the fortitude, and then your family member will be guided to the land of ultimate bliss, and you living in the world, and you have beautiful achievement. Even though you are living in the human realm, you are already as if you are living in the world of ultimate bliss. Everything beautiful will fall on your head, right? So whether we are prosperous and glorious, we need to have gratitude and always willing to give. Still remember the poor lady who made the light offering? Other lights can distinguish, but his light will always be there. It's because of sincerity. This is the true merit. You have a lot of wealth. Say, for example, you have 10 million, but you only take out $1. Yes, there is merit, but pretty small compared to your bad karma and your offenses. If your merits are too small, then it will only eliminate very small part of the bad offense, and so your benefits will be very small too. And so when we learn here, we need to check our heart. Yeah, really need to think about it. So Buddha will help people who have the karmic connection with him. One giving, you will get 10,000-fold in return. A lot of disciples who have already cultivated with me for years. A lot of them, they have dignified appearance, very harmonious family, and their business are developing very well. So today we talk about the 5 signs of decay. You can check with them. If you have made some mistake, you need to repent and also do merits. Do merits will solidify your heart and that feeling so that you can have that composure or fortitude which can offset your offenses. You really need to reflect on yourself.
Let's continue to learn Chapter 12, the benefits from seeing and hearing. Set your mind in the assembly as the triastrams are heaven. Next, Sakyamuni Buddha said to Guanyin Bodhisattva, furthermore, Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva, in the future, there may be people who have lost their parents or siblings during infancy or at the age of 3, 5, or under 10. As adults, these people think of their deceased parents and relatives and wonder where they are. These people may sculpt or paint Earth Store Bodhisattva's image. They may pay reverence to him whenever they hear his name or see his image. They may pay reverence and make offerings whenever they hear his name or see his image for 1 to 7 days continuously. These people's deceased relatives may have fallen into evil realms and would suffer punishments. They will suffer punishments there for many aeons. They might be liberated after 1,000 years. However, through their children's, siblings' merits and virtues of sculpting or painting Earth Store Bodhisattva's image, they will quickly gain release. They will be reborn into the heaven or human realms and experience excellent, wondrous joy. These people's deceased relatives may have already been reborn because they already had merits. You might ask, what does merit has to do with rebirth? Human beings on earth has a lifespan of 100 years. It's like a predetermined program. Even if humans took care of their health, they had good genes, were not involved in wars or plagues, they can rarely live more than 100 years. If 100 years were the most we can live, our lifespan would be reduced by illnesses, fatigue, mental afflictions, troubles, and mental irritations. It's very fortunate for someone to live until they're 70 or 80 years old. We consider this person to have merits. People who have merits will also leave this world and be reborn. Deceased people who have meritorious karma might already be reborn in the heaven or human realm and living happily, and their living relatives might make the above-mentioned merits for them. Then the deceased relative will gain more merits, virtues, and blessings. In the future, they will receive blessings from Buddha and Bodhisattvas and enjoy even more peace and joy. The living relatives may sincerely gaze at and pay reverence to Earth Store Bodhisattva's image wholeheartedly for 21 days. They might chant Earth Store Bodhisattva's name a full 10,000 times. Then they will perceive Earth Store Bodhisattva's manifestation of his boundless body and tell them where their relatives have been reborn to. I will briefly explain about boundless body. First, this concept. It is inconceivable. Boundless. Does our body has a bound? Yes, there is. Boundless means that it is not constrained by a bound. It is immeasurable, free of form, and free of physical existence. Some people can see manifestations of Buddha or Bodhisattva in their dream or with their physical eyes, and it's not an illusion. Such people have immense merits, virtues, and blessing. Very few people can see it. Some people have cultivated for 50 years and they have not seen Buddhas and Bodhisattvas with their eyes. They might have seen sculpted or painted images. So the Bodhisattva's boundless body is a concept that he is formless, unbounded, uncountable, and immeasurable. It's a state that is not truly seen, but it can be considered as seen. So the Bodhisattva does not manifest in a specific form. In people's dreams, living people who have made the offerings. So Earth Store Bodhisattva will manifest his great divine power and personally lead these people who have made the offerings to those worlds to see their deceased relatives. Furthermore, if these people can chant Earth Store Bodhisattva's name 1,000 times per day for 1,000 days, Earth Store Bodhisattva will send the earth deities and other deities in the vicinity of these people to guard and protect them for the rest of their life. Also, in their present life, they will have abundant food, clothing, and wealth. They will not suffer from illnesses, afflictions, disasters, or sudden calamities. Earth Store Bodhisattva will ultimately place his hand on the crown of such people's head and give predictions of their future Buddhahood. In the future, they will not reborn within the 6 realms of Samsara. He will be liberated from the 6 realms and attain eternal existence. Sakyamuni Buddha said, furthermore, Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva, in the future, there may be people who aspire great compassion to help and liberate all sentient beings, beings who aspire for cultivation to attain Buddhahood, and beings who aspire to liberate from the cycle of life and death. These people may see Earth Store's image, hear his name, wholeheartedly take refuge in him. They may make offerings of incense, flour, clothing, treasures, and food, and pay reverence to him. Such kind people will soon fulfill their vows and will never be obstructed. Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva, in the present time and in the future, there may be people who wish to fulfill many wishes and succeed in many undertakings. If these people single-mindedly take refuge, respectfully gaze, pay reverence, and make offerings and sing praises to Earth Store Bodhisattva's image, then they will achieve their wishes and vows. This is very important. There are many things we have to do in our life, such as finding a good school, attending good universities, finding a good job, and also meeting a good life partner and get married. Then buy a home, buy a car, also have children. Some people might want a boy and 2 girls. So people have many wishes. The Buddha said, if you make offerings as he taught, all your wishes will come true. That's amazing. If people making the offerings also wishes to always receive Earth Store Bodhisattva's support and protection, Earth Store Bodhisattva will come to their dreams, bless them on the head, and give predictions of their future Buddhahood. Furthermore, Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva, in the future, there may be people who revere and cherish the Mahayana Sutras deeply and have a great aspiration to read and recite them. Also, they want to read it. There is a setback. Even with the instruction of a great teacher who teaches them seriously, they quickly forget what they had just learned. They couldn't remember anything. After many years, they're still unable to read and recite those sutras because they have unresolved karmic obstacles. They are unable to read and recite the Mahayana Sutras. Karmic effects could also stop you from reading sutras. When such people hear Earth Store Bodhisattva's name or see his image, they should sincerely and reverently state their situation to Earth Store Bodhisattva. In addition, they should make offerings of incense, flowers, clothing, food, drink, and all material objects that they enjoy to Earth Store Bodhisattva. They should place a cup of pure water before the image of the Bodhisattva for a day and a night. Afterward, join palms and with the utmost reverence, receive the pure water. Why is it receive? Because it's receiving the Bodhisattva's blessing. At that moment, this water and its container are extraordinary. It contains the blessing and power of Buddha and Bodhisattvas. Thus, you have to be respectful. Face the south. Drink the water with wholehearted reverence. After drinking the water, avoid the 5 pungent plants, alcohol, meat, sexual misconduct, false speech, killing and harming for 7 days or 21 days. Then in their dreams, they will see Earth Store Bodhisattva manifest his boundless body pouring water on the crowns of their head. When they wake up, they will be endowed with keen intelligence. Should these sutras be heard in their ears but once, they will forever remember them and never forget a single sentence. It's amazing and incomparably auspicious. Many people will develop mental clarity at a point in life. Regular mental clarity is incomparable to this. After receiving the Bodhisattva's blessing, it's as if your brain has been changed or upgraded to a super brain. It's incredible. The Buddha said, furthermore, Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva, in the future, there may be people who lack food and clothing, who suffer in poverty, who cannot obtain whatever they seek, who have frequent illnesses, who encounter much misfortune and decline, whose families and homes are without peace, whose wife and children are separated or dispersed, who experience frequent sudden calamities and afflictions, who can often have nightmares. If such people hear Earth Store Bodhisattva's name, see his image, and with wholehearted reverence, chant his name full 10,000 times, these unfortunate situations will gradually disappear. They will live in peace and happiness. They will have abundant food and clothing and peaceful sleep. Furthermore, Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva, in the future there may be people who, for the sake of livelihood, public or personal matters, events of births and deaths, or other emergencies, they must enter mountains or forests, cross rivers, oceans, or other large bodies of water, or travel along dangerous passes. Before departure, if these people chant Earth Store Bodhisattva's name a full 10,000 times, the ghosts and deities on the lands they pass through will guard and protect them. Whether they are walking, standing, sitting, or lying down, their peace and happiness will be safeguarded. Even when they encounter tigers, wolves, lions, or all that are poisonous or dangerous, they will not be harmed. Sakyamuni Buddha told Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva, Earth Store Bodhisattva has a great karmic connection with sentient beings on earth. If I were to describe how Earth Store Bodhisattva benefits the sentient beings, I could not finish in eternity. Therefore, Avalokitesvara, you should use your supernormal power to propagate this sutra and enable sentient beings in thousands of worlds to always have peace and happiness throughout the distant future. At that time, Sakyamuni Buddha spoke in verse, saying, I observe that Earth Store's awesome divine power cannot fully be told even in aeons as many as grains of sand of Ganges River. Seeing, hearing, gazing at, or respecting him in a thought moment will benefit humans and heavenly beings in immeasurable ways. Men, women, dragon-like beings or deities, those who are nearing the end of the present karmic effect, may fall into evil realms. By sincerely taking refuge in this Mahasattva, their lifespan will be extended, and evil karma will be eliminated. Those who lost their parents or loved ones in their youth may wonder, to which realm have their spirits gone? Whether brothers, sisters, or other kin, The grown surviving ones do not know their whereabouts. If these people sculpt or paint this Mahasattva's image, gaze up longingly, pay reverence to him continuously, and chant his name for 3 7-day periods, the Bodhisattva will manifest his boundless body, reveal the realms that their relatives have been reborn in. Even if they have fallen into evil realms, they will soon gain release. If beings do not regress from their initial resolve, the Bodhisattva will place his hand on the crown of their head and give them holy predictions. People who want to cultivate into the unsurpassed Bodhi and be liberated from the 3 realms sufferings should aspire to have great compassion. They should first gaze up at and pay reverence to this Mahasattva's image. Their vows will soon be fulfilled, and no karmic obstacles can ever hinder or stop them. People may aspire to recite the sutra and wish to liberate confused beings over to the other shore. Although their vow is so inconceivable, they soon forget what they have read. Much is wasted and lost. Because these people have karmic obstacles deluding them, they cannot remember the Mahayana Sutras. They should make offerings to Earth Store Bodhisattva with incense, flowers, clothing, food, drink, and objects they enjoy. Place pure water before this Mahasattva for a day and a night. Then pray reverently and drink the water with sincerity and solemnness. Avoid the 5 pungent plants, alcohol, meat, sexual misconduct, and false speech. Refrain from killing or harming for 3 7-day periods, and wholeheartedly meditate on this Mahasattva's name. Then soon, in dreams, they will see his boundless body. When they wake up, they will gain a keen hearing. Once the sutras and teachings pass through their ears, they will never forget them throughout thousands of lives. Because this Mahasattva is so inconceivable, he can enable these people to gain such wisdom. There may be beings who are poor or afflicted by illnesses, whose households are in misfortune and decline, whose relatives or retinues are separated, whose sleep and dreams are not peaceful, who cannot obtain whatever they seek, and nothing goes their way. They should wholeheartedly gaze up at and pay reverence to Earth Store's image. Then all the unfortunate events will disappear. They will be peaceful even in their dreams. Food and clothing will be abundant. Deities and ghosts will protect them. There may be people who will be entering mountains or forests, or crossing the seas, where there are ferocious and poisonous fowls and beasts, evil people, evil deities, evil ghosts, ill winds, or all sorts of calamities, sufferings, and distress. They should gaze up at, pay reverence, and make offerings to the image of Earth Store Bodhisattva Mahasattva. Then in the forests and mountains and on the great seas, those evil will all disappear. Avalokitesvara, wholeheartedly listen to me. Earth Store's inconceivable deeds are endless. Hundreds of thousands of aeons are not enough to extensively expound on this Mahasattva's powers. If people hear his name Earth Store and see his image, gaze up, pay reverence, make offerings of incense, flowers, clothing, food, and drink, they will experience wondrous joy for hundreds of thousands of aeons. If they can dedicate such merits to the Dharma realm, they will transcend the cycle of births and deaths. They will ultimately become Buddhas. Therefore, Avalokitesvara, you should know this and tell everyone throughout lands as many as Ganges sand. This is a completion of chapter 12. Dear Master, in the Sutra, Sakyamuni Buddha taught that some people may have lost their relatives when they are young. If they want to know where their deceased relatives are, they should paint or sculpt images of Earth Store Bodhisattva. Then, to help their deceased relatives, they should gaze and pay reverence to him for 1 to 7 days without regressing their initial resolve. Master, can you explain the meaning of without regressing initial resolve? Initial resolve is a phrase that is used frequently in the Chinese language. Many people have heard a similar phrase, do not forget your initial resolve. Initial resolve is what you prayed for at the beginning. For example, your parent is terminally ill, and you pray for Buddha and Bodhisattva's protection. At the moment you prayed, your aspiration is sincere and profound. It comes from your heart 100%. What can you do when doctors can't treat it? Pray to Buddha and Bodhisattva with immense sincerity. Say that after your parent got well or passed away, maybe after 7 years, can you still pray to Buddha and Bodhisattva as sincere as you were? Impossible. Your mind has moved on. Now, to speak of 7 years later, there will be a lot of change even after a year or 3 months. First, I might not pray because I don't have a sense of crisis anymore. If the situation is no longer critical, I might not even be sincere and grateful. Why does Buddha, let me be frank, why does Buddha remind us here? Because you should do everything you can to make yourself or remind yourself to maintain an incomparably sincere and reverent mind, because it is beneficial to ourselves. The Buddha has already attained Buddhahood. It doesn't matter to him. He sees everything in the world as happening for the best. But for us, there are immense and exceptional benefits. Buddha's and Bodhisattvas' powers and abilities will bless and protect us. We will be liberated from the state of pain, afflictions, poverty, and other sufferings. We will attain liberation and receive support. So initial resolve is the sincerest mind at the very beginning. Another example for initial resolve can be made using romantic relationships. When 2 people meet and they are deeply in love, they always think and worry about their partner. How does it compare to your mind 3 years later? When you guys are fighting for divorce, your mind will be completely different, right? Before, I've talked about the situation when people get divorced. When they're getting ready for the divorce, one party might ask naively, "Look where we are at. Back then, you said you will love me absolutely to the end of time." How would the other person reply? They might say, "Back then, you were so kind. What happened to you?" They didn't think that you would be the problem. They didn't expect your nature to be so evil. They fell for your disguise. There are many different reasons, right? From a psychological perspective, our consciousness, our mind can change in an instant. Let's take people who bid at high-profile auctions as an example. I saw this on a video. Say a buyer prepared to buy an item for $10,000. Say the item is a luxury teacup used by the former president of the United States. The buyer might think, at most, I'll pay for $12,000. When the bid reaches $12,000, over a dozen people are still bidding and pushing the price up to $28,000. You're overwhelmed by the bidding. At this moment, the auctioneer says, "This is the only remaining cup in the United States. Originally, 25 cups were made. They're all broken except for this one. Our investigation concluded that this cup has been used by the former president of the United States. 10 years ago, a former president's ashtray was sold at the price of $120,000. This cup is only $28,000 now. Then the bidder starts to bid even higher prices, all the way to $108,000. The buyer who only wanted to pay $12,000 has been overwhelmed. and he might even bid $180,000. From bidding $12,000 to $180,000, this change happened within 2 to 3 minutes, and he really paid for it in the end. What is his reasoning? Where is it? Is buying this for $180,000 is it unreasonable? What if he auctioned it again next year and sold it for 1.8 million? Would people who didn't buy regret? They might say, I could have bought it too. I could have paid 280,000. Would you regret too? So what is reasoning? Many critical choices in life are based on your perception at an instant. This perception impels you to decide based on your values. Getting married is a critical decision. When you made such a decision, you might not have thought over how good your partner is. It was just a feeling. The decision that you made in an instant is the initial resolve. Many people say, Buddha, I had a sudden aspiration the moment I saw you. I just want to kneel. When you're on the verge of death, when you don't know where you will be going, or you have become a ghost, you might start to feel scared, although you were not scared of anything before. Maybe when your doctor tells you that you are terminally ill, you start to think about things like, where is hell? Where do spirits go? Where will I be after death? Will my friends be waiting for me? You will have many things on your mind. Then where is your initial resolve? At the moment when you need something the most, you will have that extremely sincere wish or vow. This wish or vow generates that profound sincerity. So what I'm saying is that the earliest and most sincere mind is a mind of reverence to Buddha. It took a long run to help everyone understand the concept of initial resolve. I wish you can always have the sincerest reverence. Master the Sutra said that there are cases where after a person passed away, they could be reborn to the heaven realm because he had merits. But even in such cases, their living relatives should continue to make merits for them. If this person is already in heaven and has an enjoyable life, do we still need to make merits for them? First, we have to understand what is heaven realm. The heaven realm is within the 6 realms of Samsara. So life of heavenly beings will eventually come to an end. Buddha has said in Earth Store Bodhisattva, in Earth Store Sutra, when your heavenly merit is exhausted, you will end up in hell. So the living relatives should continue to make merits for the deceased. It's great that the deceased person went to heaven by his own merits, but the merits made by the living relatives can increase the deceased person's merits many times more. Secondly, it also increases the deceased person's opportunity of studying with Buddha and Bodhisattva and eventually be liberated. For sentient beings in the 6 realms of Samsara, is it enough to be reborn in the heaven realm or become a heavenly king? No, it's not the absolute best. Heavenly beings' time is still limited. What about increase the causes for holiness? Holiness means Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. You will receive Buddha and Bodhisattva's inspiration and attain ultimate liberation. Like the state of ultimate nirvana, we have talked about this before. The ultimate state of nirvana transcends the 6 realms of samsara and is beyond the impact of these realms. So their existence is endless and will not experience the sufferings in the 6 realms. The highest state described in the sutra is called the world of ultimate bliss. Ultimate bliss doesn't mean that you are laughing out every day. It means that there's no suffering at all. Say that you are reborn in the heaven realm of the 6 realms of samsara. One day, when your lifespan is about to end, would you have afflictions? When you see your wrinkles, you start to worry and troubles come. When you see someone is prettier than you are, you might be afflicted. These also happen to heavenly beings. That's why Asura always fights with other heavenly kings. So there is still fighting in the heaven realm. There are also wars, competitions. conflicts of interest, and afflictions. This is what it means when we make offerings and dedicate merits to our deceased relatives who already had some merits. We can help to make their fortune and happiness last longer, so they will have a better chance of being rescued by Buddha and Bodhisattva. Master, the sutra described a person who is now very intelligent, but they wish to read the Earth Store Sutra. Because their karmic obstacles have not been cleared, they cannot read or recite the sutra. At this moment, the Buddha guided this person to offer a cup of pure water before Earth Store Bodhisattva's image. The Buddha also said after drinking this water, the person need to be careful and avoid 5 pungent plants, alcohol, meat, sexual misconduct, false speech, killing, and harming for 7 to 21 days. What are the 5 pungent plants? Many spices we use are in the pungent or spicy category. They have an obvious and intense flavor. Some people say it's flavorful. For example, chili pepper, black pepper, Sichuan peppercorn, onion, and garlic. These are all sharp and spicy. It means that these spices contain a spicy taste and has a heated property. When we learn this, remember 3 things we shouldn't eat during this time. These are the green onion, garlic, and garlic chives. Their flavors are similar, right? People enjoy eating these, but people who are smelling it will have a hard time. The 5 pungent plants include a few different things. For example, it also includes coriander or parsley, but there is not a unified explanation. For example, in the past, onions are primarily found in the Middle East or Italy. You see the use of onions in Italian cuisine. So out of the 5 pungent plants, remember 3 types, and you're basically right. These are green onions, garlic, and garlic chives. These also include onions and long stem chives. Generally, during this period of time, don't eat vegetables or spices that have a similar taste to these pungent plants. In addition, avoid alcohol, meat, killing, sexual misconduct, and false speech. False speech includes swearing, deceiving, bad-mouthing. Don't use any false speech. Why are there rules for your diet, speech, and behavior before drinking this cup of pure water respectfully? Because this water will benefit you. While you're drinking this water, and after you have drunk it, you cannot put bad things into your body. You cannot do bad things. If you do it, you have broken the seal. This cup of water is like a medicine. If you break the guidelines of taking medicine, the medicine will be ineffective. So to guarantee its medicinal effect, you cannot do these bad things after drinking this medicine. That's why you cannot eat the 5 pungent plants. It's to guarantee the effect. Because this method is taught to the general public, the Buddha didn't say that you can never do this again. The Buddha said it's best not to do it within 7 days or 21 days. He set a time limit for avoiding these things. Here, the Buddha said, these people who do this practice, they will see Earth Store Bodhisattva in their dreams. The Bodhisattva will manifest his boundless body pouring water on the crowns of their head. What if I practice this method, but didn't dream of a blessing of water? How do I know if Buddha and Bodhisattva came to bless me or they didn't receive my prayer? It is something that Buddha or Bodhisattva will do, and it doesn't matter whether you felt it or not. Some people might not be sensitive. Even when they are punctured by a needle stick for injection, they ask whether it's finished or not. People have different levels of sensitivity. Buddha said you will receive a blessing on the head. After this blessing, you will have wisdom. The result determines whether the Buddha has blessed you. What matters is whether you become wiser. Your feelings don't matter. For example, when the wind at the beach could barely move a flag, an older person with bad health will feel it's very windy. But what about his granddaughter? His granddaughter will be wearing shorts and tank tops. She will be walking in seawater and say it's boring because there's no sea breeze. See, people will perceive the same situation differently. How should we comprehend it? Whether Buddha have helped you is determined by the end result and not your perception. Don't think that your feelings are always correct. Don't dwell over whether you really saw something. What is the state of Buddha and Bodhisattva? We have just talked about the formless realm. Formless realm is the same concept as formless body. Our physical, material body doesn't exist. Buddha's manifestation can fill the entire world. His body doesn't have a form. When Buddha helps you, if it's something that's extremely important and you need to pay great attention, Buddha will make you perceive it or dream it. When Buddha helps you, you won't feel an electric shock. Rarely would people say they saw Buddha blessing them by pouring water, or they see Buddha's hand on their head. Just remember, when you receive help from Buddha, we might not feel it. Master, when we are learning the Sutra, many online friends feel sorry for their past mistakes. There might be many people who are repenting for their ignorance in the past. One online listener is very brave. He said, Master, I had been a scammer for a short time. I'm not a scammer anymore, but I'm scared of going to hell. What should I do? He's very honest and very brave to tell this to Master. He wants Master's guidance. If you made a living as a scammer, you must have awakened for a reason. First, he might have awakened because of learning Buddha Dharma. Some might be awakened because they are experiencing karmic effects. My suggestion is to make merits and virtues quickly. Use the money and assets you got from scamming to make offerings and donations. If you keep it, you are keeping disasters for yourself. It will multiply too. We learned that to give one is to receive 10,000-fold in return. That's when you make an offering, right? And on the other hand, the wealth that you have built by stealing and cheating might not make you lose money, but it might make you unfortunate. If you stole $1, you might suffer 10,000 times more misfortune. It will all be multiplied. The first thing you should do is repent. Repent is remorse, and not doing it again. Second, all the money from scamming should be used in offerings or donations. Don't keep it. Otherwise, it's disastrous. If you save the wealth for your children or relatives, disasters will follow them all the way into hell. These behaviors, including stealing, could kill someone indirectly. You might have stolen the money that someone desperately needed to treat illness. If you stole someone's life savings, what would happen to them? How could you bear to make an old man homeless? It's like you're killing the old man. If you scammed one senior, you killed one senior. If you scam two, you have killed two. After they pass away, they will become ghosts and come for your life. If they couldn't hurt you, they will hurt your children. It's your choice. Donate the money you made scamming and use it to make merits. Master, another online friend asked, Master, during self-cultivation, sometimes bad thoughts comes to mind, and I would blame myself. Sometimes I can't concentrate on self-cultivation and stop practicing. How can I better communicate with Earth Store Bodhisattva and pray for better self-cultivation and blessings? Let's talk about karma later. Our thoughts change every instant. So our mind is full of self-contradictions. Today I want to chant, but I didn't. Today I want to do kind deeds, but I didn't do it. I want to get up early and meditate, but I slept in. There's another self that made the decision. But it's not other people, it's yourself. Because you have a choice. Master told you to have a vegetarian diet, chant to Buddha and meditate in the morning. But you ask, why should I do it? I won't do it. Who can argue and contradict? People who are not terminally ill are qualified to contradict. 5 years ago, I reminded someone, you need to meditate now. He said, I'm so energetic and I have a large business, I don't have time. Some workers say, I'm very busy. If I don't work and make money, my wife and children have nothing to live on. I can meditate, I have to earn money. The big boss might say, I have a large business, I can leave my employees unmanaged. Everyone has a reason. They try to avoid self-cultivation and make more money. But some people will come to me after 5 or 3 years, or even just 1 year. They'll say, Master, I'm awakened. I'll follow your every word. I will ask them, what did the doctor say? Oh, I have late-stage cancer and have only 3 months left. Now they don't have a choice, and we can talk terms. I would say, if you are determined, every day you should kneel before the Buddha and repent for an hour, chant for an hour, practice meditation of greater illumination for 2 hours, and work energy bhagavad for an hour. Try practicing 5 hours every day. Maybe you would still be here 3 months later. Then he said, I'll do it, and he's grateful. To the online friend who asked this question, you're holding yourself up because you have a choice. But when you don't have a choice anymore, even if you came to me, I might not be able to save you. Master, here's another question from an online friend. When I was learning the Earth Store Sutra, it seems I was able to communicate with my late parents-in-law. My mind felt uneasy, and I offered lights for them. However, I still don't feel peaceful. Master, is there anything that can help me? Should I wear a blessed item? Our eyes can only see one aspect of this world. Personally, I think there are at least 3 different worlds that share the world we humans are in. However, they can see us, but we can't see them. They could be more superior beings or a specific type of being. For example, ghosts have lower energy than we have, and we cannot see ghosts. It's like a universe programmed the existence of ghosts as a non-materialistic existence. It doesn't have a physical form like humans do, but they share this world with us. We are connected with our ancestors and karmic creditors. Say that you harmed a life before. You might have slaughtered a pig, a duck, a weasel, or other animals, or humans. When a person meets the hell of King Yama might tell you that you should have been killed by that person because you had killed him 3 times in the past life. So this is revenge. If you can understand it and decide not to revenge back, you can reborn to a human family and live a good life. But some people or beings, when they are killed, they might be angry. They couldn't let go and hold a grudge for you. So they try to take your life or torture you instead. Sometimes, people might experience sleep paralysis. It feels like that evil energy has pinned you down, and you can't move although your mind is clear. Sometimes people might see dark shadows visiting them frequently. These are all called karmic creditors. You have a karmic bond with them because you had harmed them before. Such karmic creditors are harmful to you. We might not have made merits to deal with them, to liberate them, or to resolve their grudge. Thus, it comes to your home to find you or your family. There are ways to avoid these karmic creditors. There are purvas, vajapestals, tankas, and Buddha statues. You can also wear mala made of agar wood or sandalwood beads. You can wear pendants with images of Buddha, gemstones, or jade. Gemstone and jade are better for storing auspicious energy. For example, rubies already have a yang energy. It can ward off ghosts and evil and give people good luck. There are also zi beads. Zi beads are blessed with great power. It can ward off evil energies and ghosts. It has also been used this way for a long time in Tibet and the Middle East. It is very convenient to wear because it has a light weight. Also, its energy, its power can dispel evil. Master, another listener asked, if I listen to the Earth Store Sutra, it seems that Buddha and Bodhisattvas expound Dharma in the human and heaven realm. Do Buddhas and Bodhisattvas expound Dharma in the three evil realms? Can sentient beings in the three evil realms learn Buddha Dharma? I don't know. What I know is that the human realm is the lowest realm that can understand Buddha Dharma. It's difficult for animals to understand because the animals' language is not as rich as human beings. And they also need basic provisions for enlightenment. So a regular animal doesn't have such karmic connections. Earth Store Bodhisattva is actually already a Buddha. He goes into hell to liberate sentient beings there. However, the people in hell are punished and tortured so much that they cannot think about liberation. They don't have the wisdom to comprehend, to self-cultivate, or get merits. Such people have already lost their chance. Of all the sentient beings, it's easiest for human beings to enlighten. Buddhas will go to the three evil realms, but it's more difficult for those beings to attain liberation. So we should cherish our existence as a human being and cherish our opportunity to learn Buddha Dharma. In the Sutra, Earth Store Bodhisattva emphasized that we should make more offerings. An online friend asked, Master, if I had $10,000, should I donate to the poor, like homeless people, or make an offering to Buddha and Bodhisattvas? If you have such an aspiration, whatever you do is not wrong. For example, a poor person is starving. They have an 80-year-old mom and a young infant waiting for food. If you give him some money or food, he could avoid starving. This is not award-winning charity work. This is excellent. But sometimes, when you donate to international non-profit organizations, would you wonder whether they really use the cash to help people's lives? I know that many people in North America are homeless because they use recreational drugs. These recreational drugs are very expensive. They cost tens or hundreds of dollars. How much money do you have to spend on these when you are jobless? Most people cannot work after using these drugs. Their teeth fall off at a young age because their bones are brittle. Some people who are in their 30s walk like a 90-year-old similar with an unsteady gait. Some international nonprofits provide rice and other household items. Each time, they will give you a portion of food for a month. You might only keep half of the food and sell the rest for money. Then use that money for illegal things like gambling, drug abuse, or other bad things. That's not very good. We can help people when there is a natural disaster, but every country has a certain percentage of poor people who completely relies on social benefits. This is wrong. Some people might just be lazy and didn't want to work. Buddha Dharma is miraculous. Say that if you make donations to a Buddhist center, how does these centers benefit sentient beings? They teach people the principles of life, so sentient beings can understand where suffering comes from. Sufferings originates from illness, mentalities, emotions, finance. When you understand the nature of sufferings, you can avoid these sufferings. For example, I understand that I'm suffering not because I'm dumb, but because I'm too lazy. Some people want to work early, but I only got up at 9:30 a.m. I've already lost a chance to work in the morning, and that's why I make less money. A Buddhist center educates sentient beings on the principles of life and karma. When you understand these, you can release yourself from suffering. With an advanced understanding, people will always practice kind deeds. They will aspire to benefit all sentient beings and take action. The benefit of learning Dharma is that the entire society can be educated and rescued fundamentally. Who should we give the donation to? Say if I had some money and I want to help people who are ill. For example, my mom and grandma both died of a severe disease, so I aspire to become a doctor. When I become a doctor, I'm licensed to practice medicine. Then, I wish more people can become doctors and alleviate pain for all mothers in the world, so they can see a doctor whenever they need to. Then we'll use this money to train more doctors. I wouldn't give this money to patients so that they can buy painkillers. Our center is like a medical school training doctors. We train great doctors that can treat all sufferings of the sentient beings. There is a theme in the sutra. For example, when a person is about to die, and we wish that they would not fall into the 3 lower realms, so we use their land, wealth, and treasure to make offerings and donations. Why? Because you need it the most at this time to be reborn to a kind place. Some business people might ask, what does your center do with this money? First, it's used for emergency relief in natural disasters. Second, in peacetime, Buddha Dharma focuses on education, educating people to be compassionate, kind, caring, and loving all beings. Education people not to be greedy and do not kill. It cares about the society. It's the education of our soul. When compared to giving to the poor, I would rather give most of the money to an educational organization. This is more important. Earth Store Sutra is a teaching given to sentient beings like us. It makes self-cultivation easy for everyone. People can interact with Earth Store Bodhisattva easily. Even when you hear Earth Store Bodhisattva's name, you can receive help and even liberation. Some people might ask, is it so miraculous? It's not because of a miracle, it's because of His profound and compassionate vow. He loves us, just like how a compassionate mother loves her children. That's why He has such a compassionate aspiration. For me, I have understood the Sutra. I joyfully accept. I praise for His deeds, and I am infinitely grateful. As today's teaching of Chapter 12 completes, let's dedicate any merits and virtues to the Dharma realm, the universe, and all sentient beings. May all sentient beings who have a karmic connection be liberated from suffering. May they have joy, happiness, peace, and health. May everyone have food to eat and have a smile on their face. May the world be peaceful.
什么耶梭哈？哈哈哈，为什么耶梭哈？哈哈哈，为什么耶梭哈？哈哈哈，为什么耶梭哈？为什么耶梭哈？为什么耶梭哈？为什么耶梭哈？为什么耶梭哈？为什么耶梭哈？为什么耶梭哈？为什么耶梭哈？为什么耶梭哈？为什么耶梭哈？为什么耶梭哈？为什么耶梭哈？为什么耶梭哈？为什么耶梭哈？为什么耶梭哈？为什么耶梭哈？为什么耶梭哈？为什么耶梭哈？